couple retired about a year ago. And now all of a sudden I find out they're going back to work. And so I was talking to one of them and I said, why are you going back? Is it that you need to work or that you want to work? And the answer was, well, we didn't really anticipate how expensive healthcare was.
Well, we'll be talking about ending strong and starting fresh as we flip the calendar page here on Financial Focus with the founder and CEO of GulfCoast Financial Services, John Kuykendall. Now, GulfCoast Financial Services has been named Best of the Best in Financial Services by the readers of the Lake City Reporter 10 straight years and running. And each and every week here on Financial Focus, we find a little bit more about why they continue to be named the best of the best. John, you keep us financially focused even as we are caught up in the holiday season here. Hope you are having a good one, but it is time. There is always time. There's always need and importance to continuing to focus on our lasting financial well-being. And as we turn the calendar page, a lot of people end up kind of cycling back and focusing on that again. So a good time to talk about starting strong, finishing strong, starting fresh.
Well, that's right, Peter. We're going to start a fresh year soon. And, it's the time of beginnings, new beginnings. And so we start a new year. And it's a time to sit back and reflect on what we did this past year and what we can do better next year. And it's the time to look at that financially focused income plan and make the updates to it. So as you and I were talking before, we have that income plan coming in and we know how much money we're going to have to retire on. It's one of the biggest things we need to do as we move forward. There are a lot of things we need to look at, but we always need to be focused on income.
There's an old saying, John, that it always has rubbed me the wrong way. It is what it is. I feel like that is the scapegoat of the complacent, right? You always have to start where you are, but there's always room for improvement. So if somebody doesn't have that financially focused income plan, that might be one of the resolutions to handle and address early on in the new year.
Well, Peter, I think you are what you do. And so if we are proactive and we start planning now and we work up that financially focused income plan, it's a great way to get started for the new year and also to get started in our retirement or get ready for retirement. How many people are getting close to retirement but still have no idea how much money they're going to need in retirement?
Yeah. And you got to start from where you are, from where you're at, but we can always improve. And just taking account of things, John, just knowing where that is. A lot of people, like if we had a financial map and you said, hey, point to where you are right now on this map so we can chart out where you want to be, we might not even be able to find the little red dot that says you are here or point to that very accurately. So get an assessment of where you're at currently.
Well, that's right. And we need to know where we're going. So find out where we are, find out where we're going, and then figure out how much gas I'm going to need during that trip and how I'm going to pay for it. And that's what the retirement focused income plan does. It does a lot of things that we need to look at. But as we talk about this new start, we need to talk about with our advisors about certain things. What's your approach? Our approach has always been that we're proactive. We're tactical in the idea that we don't time the market, but we don't want to run the market down. So the money that we manage here, we don't want to have a home run, as we say every year, but we don't want to, hit into a triple play either and lose 30%. We want to make sure that we're covered. So we try to be tactical in our approach. And that's worked well for us since we started doing this in 2002.
Yeah, you don't have to be right every time, but it only takes being wrong once to put the whole plan in jeopardy in retirement. And so trying to avoid those terrible, bad down years in the market is one of the things that's going to help the longevity of our plan and for us to remain financially confident through our longevity.
Yeah, Peter, and the thing I've learned, I've got several clients who were not with us during 2008, but their advisor rode the market down and they still haven't recovered emotionally or financially from what happened to them in 2008. And 2008 was a long time ago. That's the last time we had a significant, recession and a turn down in the market. We've had small blips during the period from 2008 to now, but we've never had a real correction. And at some time in the future, we're going to be there. The market has to kind of burn the forest in order to have the forest to grow.
Yeah, always a cool down period. Market's been very advantageous to be invested. I would say really since 2009. What is that? The last 15 years
Yeah,
have been fantastic if you were able to stay invested the entire time. But John, you mentioned like the emotion of it, the psychology of it is that a lot of people make exactly the wrong moves at the wrong time. They get burned once and they don't want to expose the money to the growth potential of the market again, or they lose money and sell out at the exact wrong moment. That's one of those things that can be helped if you've got a true plan in place, knowing where you are now and where you want to get to and how much time you have between now and there.
that's right. That's what it really does. It shows you where you're going there. And psychologically, those people that lost that amount of money, half their portfolio, in some cases, they are still so afraid to spend because they're so afraid that they're going to have another correction that even though we've been able to have some corrections and some gains in the portfolio and make up some of the money they lost, they don't want to, they're too afraid to take it. And so they're not living their ideal retirement. And that's what I feel worst about. I've got several clients that it makes me feel sad for them that I can't convince them that they can spend a little more money and enjoy themselves.
Well, John, your approach is being proactive, and I know that you start the conversation through that strategy session and help people analyze and review and evaluate the current holdings and where they are at, and then help them design that financially focused written retirement plan. What are some of the main issues or subjects that you spent time within that plan addressing in 2024 and you think are probably worthwhile for planners to address in 2025?
Well, the one thing we've always talked about, Peter, on this show is longevity. Longevity, we're going to live longer. I saw something yesterday that said that the new 70, the 70s is the new 30s. And so we're going to live longer. We may not be as active, but we're going to live longer just naturally. And so longevity is going to be a risk multiplier that we're going to have to take consideration of. The other one, which we don't talk a lot about, people don't really understand it a lot, is the sequence risk. Because, it's been proven now statistically that if I take my money out in a down market, it will actually go faster and I'll run out of money sooner than if I started taking it out in an up market and then had the down markets later. So if I have the down market at the beginning and the up market later, I'm going to run out of money, even though statistically I'm looking at the same rate of return over a period of years. And so we have to be worried about that. And that's the one thing that we try to do is figure out what income we're going to need, how we're going to get it with that retirement income plan, and how we're going to make sure that we get the same check every month and then have a growth bucket that's going to take care of that sequence of return and also inflation. And inflation's another one. I mean, 3.8% historically. I don't know about you, Peter, but every time I go to the store, I think it's more than that.
I think it was 3.8% since last week sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, we paid 11.50 this morning for two each for two breakfasts. So it was $23 plus a tip. So we got out of there for $28 for two breakfasts that were not extravagant: eggs, bacon, grits, and toast. And I was telling somebody, I remember when I paid $1.50 for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows you how long I've been around. But inflation is affecting us. And so, that 50,000 that I need today is going to be 100,000 in 10 or 15 years. And so how am I going to get that? Because, I'm not able to work in retirement, some of us. I can't count on that. I can't count on a paycheck anymore. So how am I going to take care of that inflation risk as I go forward? And we do that with our growth bucket.
Mhm. John, you always also talk about how within that strategy session, within the planning, within the financially focused written retirement plan, that small changes in some cases can have big impacts. Lazy money, if we
Oh
can
yeah.
just get a little bit more out of each dollar, Social Security, taxes, if we can change those things just by a little bit, compounded over the decades of retirement, it makes a big, big impact on our outcome.
Oh yeah, Peter. I mean, if we've got money that's not working for us and we've got 40, 50,000 in the bank and it's not earning anything, then we can take that money and put it in a money market account or a CD or a fixed annuity and we can get more return. So why wouldn't we want to do that? Because it's just going to give us more income. And you certainly, need to make every dollar that you have work in retirement. We cannot have lazy money, as you call it. Social Security. When am I gonna take it? How's it gonna affect me? What limitations do I have if I take it now? How's that gonna affect my spouse? And then also looking at Medicare taxes, as you said, because taxes are a big one. What can I do in my portfolio? What can I do in the income I'm receiving so that I'm maximizing or minimizing the taxes and maximizing the return to me?
So, John, do you think that there are any big stories that you can foresee for the year ahead, or maybe less crystal ball requirements here? What would you suggest someone who is considering retiring in 2025 be doing now to get ready?
Well, the first thing we need to do, Peter, is get that financially focused income plan. That's really important to have a roadmap of where I'm going. And then the second thing we need to do is we need to be aware of tax changes. The tax laws sunset this year. Luckily, Donald Trump, who's our new president in January, is the author of the last tax cuts. But those expire at the end of this year, end of 2025. So sometime between now and the end, we're going to either have those reaffirmed or we're going to get new ones. And so when I hear that, I need to start planning. And so as soon as those laws come out, we're going to be planning with all of our clients, figuring out what we can do for 2026 and beyond that's going to help them.
Well, sometimes good enough just isn't. And just because we are where we are doesn't mean that our future situation has to be relegated to it is what it is, right? Proper planning, proactive planning, taking action, John, can make improvements, even if they're small changes now, can make a big difference into the future. And I think that that's why we are up against, again, the turn of a calendar page, a time of year where people traditionally think about starting fresh and maybe trying to implement some of those changes, those resolutions, and hopefully we can give people a plan financially to stick to a few of them.
Well, that's it, Peter. We need to take that plan and we need to stick with it. I was talking to someone this morning. They retired. A couple retired about a year ago, and now all of a sudden I find out they're going back to work. And so I was talking to one of them, and I said, what are you going? Why are you going back? Is it that you need to work or that you want to work?" And the answer was, well, we didn't really anticipate how expensive healthcare was. And so they had retired prior to Medicare age. And so, they didn't realize how much they were going to have to pay for insurance for the couple. And so it was a combination of that and also the fact that they needed to have some extra income coming in because they really hadn't planned their income. Now, if they'd done that income plan, we would have gone over healthcare costs with them at the time. Because if they're Medicare age, we're taking that into consideration. If they're not, then we're looking at the exchange and saying, okay, this is what you're going to get through the exchange, and this is how much it's going to cost you. And we put that in the plan. So they would have known how much income they needed each month. So that's the reason that we have to plan, Peter. We can't just say it is what it is. It is what we make it.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't take the time to make it, then we're never going to bake cookies. Okay.
Well, John, we always appreciate the perspective, and so many across North Central Florida have taken advantage of the opportunity to get that plan put together, the financially focused written retirement plan, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up the phone if you have not yet, because so many more need that plan in place. A real vision of where you are, what your goals are, and a roadmap for how to get there. You can get that no cost, no obligation. Leave the checkbook at home. There is no cost for the first initial visit. And to get that financially focused plan put together with John Kuykendall and the team from GulfCoast Financial Services, come find out and see for yourself why they continue to be named best of the best in financial services. Call 386-755-9018. That is 386-755-9018, 755-9018, 386-755-9018, or you can visit online, gulfcoastfinancial.net, gulfcoastfinancial.net. John, always a pleasure. Hope your holidays were great. Hope the new year is fantastic and prosperous for you and the team there, and then for all of the clients that you serve throughout North Central Florida as well.
Well, Peter, I just want to say to everyone out there, I hope you had a happy holiday. And as we go into 2025, we're looking for a great year. It's going to be great. You know, God gives us and we'll take. Let's just make it a great year.
We always appreciate the time, John. We'll talk to you next year on Financial Focus.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. has been named as Best of the Best since 2015 in the category of Best Financial Advisor in the Lake City, Florida area. The award was based on receiving the most votes in this category from a survey offered and tabulated by the Lake City Reporter. No direct or indirect compensation was provided to the Lake City Reporter and/or any raters, and the award is not contingent on future direct or indirect compensation offered to the newspaper and/or raters. Portfolio performance is not a criterion, and voting is open to any readers of the newspaper.